The discography of Simon and Garfunkel, an American singer-songwriter duo, consists of 5 studio albums, 15 compilation albums, 4 live albums, 1 extended play, 26 singles, 1 soundtrack, and 2 box sets released since 1964. Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel first formed a duo in 1957 as Tom and Jerry, before separating and later reforming as Simon and Garfunkel. Simon and Garfunkel's debut album, Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m., was released on October 19, 1964. Initially a flop, it was re-released 2 years later with a new version of the single The Sound of Silence, which was overdubbed with electric instruments and drums by producer Tom Wilson. The re-released version peaked at number 30 in the US Billboard 200 chart and at 24 in the UK Albums Chart, and later received a platinum certification by the Recording Industry Association of America. The overdubbed version of the eponymous single was released on their second studio album, Sounds of Silence, released on January 17, 1966. It peaked at 21 on the Billboard charts and at 30 in the UK album charts, and later received a 3x multi-platinum certification by the RIAA. Besides the same-named single, the album also featured Simon's I Am a Rock, a song that first appeared on his 1965 debut solo album, the Paul Simon Songbook. Simon and Garfunkel's third album, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary and Thyme, was released on October 10, 1966, and produced 5 singles. It peaked at number 4 in the US and number 13 in the UK, and received a 3-time multi-platinum certification by RIAA. The single Mrs. Robinson was included in the band's first and only soundtrack, The Graduate, and was later included on their 4th studio album Bookends, which was released on April 3, 1968. It peaked at number 1 in both the US and UK, therefore becoming their first number 1 album, and received 2 times multi-platinum in the US. On January 26, 1970, they released their 5th and final studio album, Bridge Over Troubled Water. It was their most successful to date, peaking at number 1 in several countries, including the UK and US. The album sold over 25 million copies worldwide, and received 8-time multi-platinum in the US. Despite the success of their 5th album, the duo Simon and Garfunkel decided to part company, announcing their breakup later that year. They have nonetheless made a number of reunion performances, including a free concert in New York City's Central Park in 1981, which drew a crowd of 500,000 people and resulted in their live album The Concert in Central Park. Albums, studio albums, live albums, compilation albums, soundtracks, box sets, singles and EPs.